We're live.
We begin.
Hola.
Hello.
Hello, community from the Book of the Faces.
The book, yes.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
My favorite book. Did you know that?
The book, it sounds like Assassin's Tale. Like
Oh, yes.
Book of Faces, you know. All the faces you have...
Assassinated.
There you go, right?
That is actually the original purpose for Facebook was to show all the individuals in which you had assassinated.
See?
This was well before the internet, of course.
Too real.
Yeah. Sorry, Mark. Sorry. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Just so you guys know, we're here. I'm here with Amar Dev. He's one of the people that we were birthed together in the same genetic
Column.
Yeah. And we were separated for years, came back, we were reunited in Austin. And but today we're here, we're drinking some delicious tea, we're playing some improv games for you guys. So just what's the word you use when you want to tell people that what you're about to say is they shouldn't take it seriously?
Oh, salacious?
Salacious.
Is that like slander or something? Or does that mean something else entirely?
I've never heard the word salacious before.
Salacious. I think it means like to slander, or it could be a sexual innuendo. I have no idea. I think it's like, so when I think of slander, I don't take things seriously.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We're about to throw down some slander. Just so y'all know. Yeah, we're going to be playing improv games today, led by Amar. And most of what we say is total bullshit, totally made up, not real at all.
Yes.
Just like the Assassins.
Just like the Assassin's Tale.
Yeah.
But there will be kernels of truth within everything that we say.
Thank you for saying
Yes.
that, Mr. Dev.
Yes, the Colonel. Colonel Dev says, yay.
Colonel Dev. Is that what we should call you from now on?
Yes,
or?
please.
Okay, Colonel Dev. Okay,
Colonel Dev.
perfect. Colonel Dev.
First of all, so we are drinking a 2004 Shangpur. Last week, we drank a 2003, I believe, Tianguanyan roasted oolong. This is a pour. And it's been aged for over 14 years. And it is... I want you to tell me what comes up for you when you smell this.
I mean, I'm such a... I
Really?
smelled coffee at first. And I thought, Folgers! Folgers! It's totally Folgers! I was like, wow. I was like, I don't know if I want to share that.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with...
I judged
there's no eternal war between coffee and tea. Although I guess some people make it seem like it is.
Yeah.
For me, like, I get like a forest floor.
Okay.
Like, to me,
That's where you were born, though, right?
Yeah, I was born in the forest. Was I born in the forest floor? I mean, I was born in a Taiwanese hospital, which was could have been mossy. I don't know. I have no idea. I'll have to get back to you on that one. But around this hospital and area were forests of which these types of teas were cultivated.
Okay.
So yes, I think I do have an inclination, a precedent for smelling such things.
That's very fair. It's delicious. I almost get like a slight fruitiness to it.
Great,
It is.
absolutely. Don't hold back.
I know. I feel like you know when you're like tasting wine with people that definitely drink a lot of wine.
Oh yeah.
And you're just like, what does this
Oh
taste like?
yes,
Like, you're like,
apricots and
yeah, right. It's definitely grape juice.
yeah, right. Just like my bar mitzvah.
Yeah, I try to give like great descriptions, and I'm just like grapes.
Grapes, absolutely.
So
You know, I used to work at a winery.
really?
Washington
Nice.
State. You know, they're on the eastern side of the Cascades. They have their vineyards, and then they truck them to the west side, and we like all process that. And I guess like I'm kind of like you, like in regards to like taste in general is not my forte.
Right.
Like sound
Yeah.
and touch, like those are the two things in which like I.
We're just like,
finally, you've spoken to me. But yeah, those are the two senses that are the most vivid for me.
right.
And so taste has always been trying to catch up a little bit. Smell,
Yep.
sight. You know, I always tell people that if I was blind, I would be enlightened like immediately. I can,
true.
I can
Yeah,
pretty
I thought
much like the root to all of my issues have to deal with like the visual plane
right.
of some sort. You know,
Right,
just like
right,
how we appear to others.
Right.
All the things that we do when we see people looking at us. You know, if I was like, you know, in some coliseum giving a speech and I couldn't see people, I'd give a dope ass speech, man.
You
Like
just wouldn't give a fuck.
I
There's
really
no
wouldn't.
fucks
I'd
to
be
give.
yeah. It's like
It's like, where do you give them? Where do you distribute the fucks at that point?
The
Maybe
fuck-
you can hear where it's coming from.
well, I don't.
But-
They don't get any of it. Like it's all for me, but they
They just
have the
go-
pleasure. Right, it's this feedback loop. So
You know, that's that was actually, I think we brought this up last time, but I personally feel that the stories that we create about ourselves and our reality really do often stem from the eyes and the ears, but more predominantly from the eyes.
yeah,
And like, when you shut off the eyes, there's just less of a story to create. Yeah, and it's more of like an internal feedback loop rather than outsourcing that.
right.
That.
Are you outsourcing your inspiration?
Yeah. I mean, that was
Actually, you know that should be a good marketing like tagline I should have for Improv PD.
Yeah, what would that sound like?
Like I don't know, like outsourcing your inspiration is like.
Do you outsource your inspiration to
inspiration?
China?
Right, exactly.
Have you been outsourcing across abroad to save on resources?
Exactly. You know.
Do you have a bank or a mine bank that's located in a tax-free haven?
Right. Is there a 1 in the area code? Like, is that a thing?
A 1 in the area code?
Yeah. Isn't that like all like 1s? That's like the international area code.
Well, 1 is the number of creation.
The loneliest number.
The loneliest number. It's like the number of creation. You need it to code. It's one of those numbers. You don't got it.
That's right.
You don't got nothing.
You done.
You done.
You done, little boy.
Uh-huh.
So you know, okay. So I feel like we're on this topic of sensation,
Sensation.
and that's one of the first questions I often ask people is like, what are your top 2, or what are your like list like the order of operations in which like your senses have like hierarchy.
Right.
Because
right,
we
right,
all have our ones that we prefer, we spend more time with, and I feel like it's just one of the best questions to get to know someone.
Do you think that the senses, our go-to senses, also dictate how we're attracted to individuals? Like, for instance, like maybe our preference in terms of the opposite sex or the same sex, whatever we're
Sure.
into. I guess I would say sexual preference. That's probably a better thing. Like, if you're
Totally.
more, I know I've heard. I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard that women tend to have they have less of a visual kind of stimulation when it comes to like attractiveness, and that's a generalization, of
Oh
course.
yeah, totally.
But like, whereas men have much more of a visual element to them.
So that's, I mean, if we get into feminine, masculine archetypes,
Right.
and not really female, male, like sexual
Right.
organs, like,
Right.
yeah, the feminine is more in tune with hearing, because it's a non-linear process of conversion.
Yeah.
And the eyes are very linear.
Yeah, right.
So it's that it's often symbolized as like the arrow.
Right.
That either the arrow in time or whatnot. It's that straight shot.
Right.
That straight rational connection.
And it's literally designed. I know that our peripherals are actually more are more developed than our, like, what would you say, like our direct sight.
Sure.
Because like that's like the survival instinct is being able to see from side to side, or like when you're hunting side to side.
Totally.
Whereas, because if it, like I know when I was taking Muay Thai, they say like to punch directly at the person because they react much slower than, whereas if you come from the side,
oh
they
right,
react
that side sucker.
the side sucker, I'll be ducking.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay, so this goes into another great like periphery, like what that means, like
Right.
Looking at something head on, having tunnel vision, into something, like, is that something that disallows you from seeing the whole picture, which is why you can punch someone directly in between their eyes,
Right.
and they're like, what's going on?
Right. But at the same time, is that also like the most direct, the fastest way, or like the most precise way to get somewhere sometimes?
Right.
At the same, so it's like,
Because what about like a wormhole? Like you open a wormhole from there to here, and then like your fist just comes straight into my forehead, like that'd be the quickest way.
Right.
I wouldn't see it.
Why screw around with?
Why is that?
What am I doing way over here? I mean, same goes with love. Like I could go like this and try to hug you, or I could just kiss you.
Right.
Like that.
Right. Yeah. No consent whatsoever.
0 consent, straight to it. That's great, but no, I like the question how you. So you, when you're, I guess like when you're interacting with someone for the first time, or just in general, do you like look at the sensory, or do you work towards understanding what sensory modality that person is most primarily using? Yeah,
no, like whether if I'm on a date or meeting anyone new, have a new client or whatnot, like it's that question always comes up without fail.
Yeah,
because it's the map for how we perceive things.
Right.
Like our map of the entire world is initially based on the senses.
Right.
Now, when we get into the authentic world of meditation, then we get to let go of those frequency bandwidths, and we get to actually perceive things beyond, like in the example of hearing, 20 to 20,000 hertz. Like that's what we're physically allowed to hear, but we can hear so much more when we really tap into these other aspects of ourselves. So that's often how I like to articulate, the perception to people, either my clients, friends, or whatever. Like it's, we have this initial bandwidth that we can play with, but if that's all you want to do, if that's the playground you want to play with, like there's so much more.
Yeah.
So we'll do these other things so that we can, we'll play with this playground, then we'll expand the playground, so that we can have more fun. Like, be bold, have fun. Like that is the most important thing.
Be bold, have fun.
Be bold,
have
have
fun.
fun. That. Yeah, exactly.
You should get bumper stickers.
I really
Wait, so basically what you're saying is that if we look at like the visible light spectrum,
yes,
and we've all seen that like when we were in high school, whatnot, we got that like little that page in the textbook that shows you that tiny little there's like the huge line of like the spectrum, and then like on that spectrum there's this tiny little portion that's like visible light. This is what our whole entire life is like.
Exactly.
Just like scrunched in this area. And so what you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, is that like that by meditative states allow us to kind of go beyond that spectrum that is limited by light and go beyond light, would you say?
To go beyond light. Yeah. Exactly. Go beyond light. I often like to use because I'm so sonically oriented, I love the sonic metaphors. Yeah. But with the visual spectrum, it's the exact same idea. Yeah. You can expand that spectrum that we all have. Yeah. But it requires a letting go of of actually the spectrum itself.
Right.
And this is the other thing. It's you know like love. Like this is what I tell a lot of people as well. If you truly love something, you have to be able to let it go.
Yeah.
And so, in order to really love this like world that we're in, you have to let it go.
Right. Just like that flower that's so beautiful.
Yes.
It's like, oh, I just want to take it home with me. I just want to grab it. I just want to pluck it.
Right.
I want to pluck it. But the moment you pluck it, it dies, and it's just not the same. It'll never be the same, and you just destroyed something beautiful. Good job.
Good job.
You just destroyed something beautiful.
Yeah, what's that quote? I mean, that is a quote, right? Like it's if you like something, you will pluck a flower. If you love something, you will water it.
Right. Or
Right.
like, what is that? Like love fully and loosely or something. Love fully and loosely.
Thank you. I was waiting for you to fully. No, isn't it like we're just gonna say different sayings? Does that mean that they like laugh double, eat half, laugh double, and then some? There's a 3 in there somewhere. You ever heard that?
Pretty sure it's just live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh,
Live, laugh, love.
You know that reminds me of a progressive metal song. See, I knew progressive metal was gonna. No, totally, absolutely. There's this song called Grace that this beautiful musician artist Devin Townsend he wrote this song. It's a very heavy song where they're like yelling Grace like the entire time.
like screaming.
It's like,
or like
Grace! Like it's like this. There's the choruses. There's everything, and it's so like I love contrast.
Yeah.
To see like a really heavy thing, but be about grace. Like that's the beautiful contrast.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So anyway, the reason I bring that up is I went to a progressive rock metal show this last Wednesday. I am so infatuated with that genre. I think it is so in depth. I will show you the things that I love in regards to that arena.
Why? I'm just curious. Why do you feel it's so like in depth or like compared to like other genres? Like what is it that really calls you?
So lyrically, the lyrics are top notch, and there are always these like conceptual albums too, where like every song flows into the next song. It's a story.
Sure.
Always like very complexly articulated and whatnot, and it's just so it's technical as well. And it's all about the universe. Like like every album is about some aspect of the universe that is just so incredibly intertwined in all of our lives. And it's also very technical too. So it's like you know, some people are not into that like technical musicianship.
Sure.
And there's a way for it to not be authentic. Like you know, like no one really just wants that. Like you want to have like, you know, 5-part harmonies and all that. Anyway, shout out to Haken and Leprous, who I saw on Wednesday. They were incredible. I love you so much. Like I will do anything in my power to promote this genre because it's not well known in this country. Like
I mean, like when you said, what do you say, prog rock?
Prog rock.
Prog rock? Is that what you call it? Yeah, when you said prog rock, I was like, is that like prog rock?
Well, people say like, is that from like the Czech Republic, right? It's like, you know, rock from
is that
Prague.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Interesting.
Yes. Totally.
Yes. Oh, exactly.
Yes.
No.
Shall we play with words?
I think we should.
Okay. Absolutely. Let us drink our tea.
Sip, sip, sip.
So,
we'll
we'll just do one word at a time.
one word.
Yes.
Okay.
Until things happen.
Till things happen. By the way, this is an improv game.
Yes.
If you're not familiar.
Where rules are meant to be broken.
And broken is the essence of life.
Life, flower of life. Power.
Power to the peoples.
Yes. Democracy, Guns N' Roses.
Ah, but the rose fell out of the gun before the bullets were shot.
Yes. Therefore, creating a whole new species of rose called gun-shy rose.
Ah, yes. Oh, the shy ladies stood up in their power as they realized they were the guns.
Ooh, yes.
Oh.
Yes, and then all the males started running around in circles, not knowing what to do because their power had now collapsed.
Oh, until they recognized that they were the power. They were the ammunition in which the guns would fire at things.
Yes, and hence came forth a new form of ruling, where only munition metaphors were granted in every aspect of life.
But then the government took away all the guns. And so the men and women had to find a new way to circumvent themselves.
Yes, and when they heard the word circumvent, they realized that they needed to create homes that were circular in nature, and they had to find the circumference, where only 4 people could live in a home.
Ah, yes, and 4 people specifically, because when you're playing dodgeball, or more specifically that game where you we kind of bounce the ball in the 4 squares. I'm pretty sure it's called 4 squares. It makes it much more effective to do that, and of course, like, to make decisions as a family or a 4-person, group, you have to play 4 square, and the winner is the leader of the group.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
The number 4 became integral in this new society when all the guns were taken away. In fact, they created a language based on 4 syllables. Ik, mak, yuk, and lu.
Ikmak, Luke, and you were actually a former Korean. They were a Korean prog rock band, which was very influential back in the 60s. And this Korean prog rock band really guided this so-called dystopian. Well, it was a dystopia.
It seemed okay.
Well, it seems okay on paper, but like when you look at the reality, you're stuck in like endless 4-score games with a bunch of people that you may or may not like.
You could only say 4 things. 4 syllables.
You had to choose.
You have to choose.
Like, is this for like the rest of your life, or like just I forget? I forget if it was like every day they get to choose.
Well, every day was a new combination.
Okay,
of,
that's right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for reminding me. After they did the whole like extermination of your mind memories.
Yes.
See, that's when it turned into real dystopia.
Right, exactly. Except, lobotomies aren't so bad after all, because then you forget all the bad stories you've carried throughout the years.
And forgetfulness is, it's the greatest cure.
Forgetfulness is godfulness, and godfulness is
forgetfulness.
Forgetfulness, exactly. Yes, it all comes back around. So yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
See, what was fantastic about that is that Peter was describing what it was, and in the act of describing was the creation of that particular story.
Yeah, right.
And it was meant to be one word at a time, but we're advanced at this.
We're quite advanced. We're like level 11.
Yes, level 11, which
pretty far.
In the Jewish numerology system, that's a big thing.
Oh, it's
11.
huge. So huge.
Don't mess with 11.
No. Kadosh, kadosh, kadosh. I don't even know what that word means, but
Kadosh.
It's a spiritual word.
I
think it's hello. So.
hello, pastry.
Let me hear.
Yeah, right. I'm stuck. Oh, beautiful.
Do you know what that word means? I forget.
Kadosh.
Kadosh.
I already said it's a pastry.
Is it really?
I have no idea. It can mean whatever we want.
It's true.
Yes.
Well, if you would Heat up the oven, we'll have some kadoishes right after this stream.
Way ahead of you. They are already ready.
I feel like if I was a pro basketball player, and I was
You call
Jewish...
yourself the
No.
Kadosh?
Nope. Well, that too. But whenever I hit a 3-pointer, I'd be like, Kadosh! 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 Just a thought. Just a thought.
No, that's a great thought.
Yeah.
It actually reminds me. I mean, what's that? I mean, the famous I don't even think he's European. The Dallas Maverick guy.
Oh, Sir Kadosh!
Sir Kadosh. Anyway, he like did this music video of like fade away in your face, and it was beautiful.
I've not seen that, but it sounds great.
Anyway, he's well known.
It's all nice.
Look at how much we know. We don't know these sports names.
No.
We will never amount to anything.
We won't. We're far from the standards of society.
Yes, we have a new currency.
The currency of Kadosh!
Kadosh. Yes, absolutely. All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
What? You said alright, like
I
you're
said,
like, alright,
all
we need
right.
to fucking shift. We need to change.
We're done.
We're killing it. I just had this random thought about that egg gets salivated in deliciousness.
Absolutely.
Okay.
He's
I don't know if you
my.
guys can see that. No, you probably can't see the egg there. That's okay.
He's a teapot.
He's like a little Buddha egg.
Little dumpling wise man.
Why do you do that? Why do you pour it on the egg?
You put. He's a dumpling. He's the pet. He symbolizes, there's multiple things. It's kind of like pouring one out for your homies. It's like all the people that
Yeah.
you wish could be here.
Oh.
You're pouring one out. And it's also it's like giving back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
So we pour tea on our teapot.
He just looks like he's really enjoying it. And
Oh,
like
absolutely.
He's like steaming right now.
He's
He's
steaming-
like, oh, thank
He's
you.
a steaming dumpling.
Thank you, Mr. Depp. I'll be here all week.
He will.
Yeah.
he ain't going. He's got the best gig in town,
He
man.
really does. Jeez, how do I sign up? Jeez. That's funny.
So
So,
we're going to play another.
another game of Prov.
Yes, actually, I think we did the detail game last time, right?
Depends on what you mean by details.
By details, yes. You said you would never play the detail game again. So I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you a fictitious detail about yourself.
Okay.
It can be
Okay.
physical. It could be non-physical,
Okay.
and you're essentially going to justify
Of course.
why that is.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
And then when you're done, you're going to give me a detail, and then I'm going to justify. And it can be as fantastical or grounded as you want.
Okay.
That's the beautiful thing about improv. Well, I think
Yes.
we talked about this last time. Improv does not have to stay into the box of comedy. It can be whatever it needs to be. And if we do it properly, meaning that we're not filtering information, it will be a combination of all arenas.
Yes.
Laughter, darkness. Yes. So, I have noticed that when you walk down Congress Street, you only moonwalk.
Of course.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad that someone noticed my attempts at
For years I've been watching.
for years. Yes. Yes, I started moonwalking back in the 80s. This was really a celebration of not only our landing on the moon, but also Michael Jackson.
the 20 years later.
Well, actually, that's in question.
Yes.
This is a very political statement here. I had a belief that the moon landing happened in the 80s.
Yes.
When did they say it happened? Do you know the exact date?
68.
Thank you. Thank
Thank-
you. 68. Exactly.
Thank you.
That's exactly-
I've proven my point. Yeah.
But it's my belief that it actually happened later in the 80s when I was closer to when I was born. I was born in 88.
Yes.
I was moonwalking in 89.
Right. Straight from the womb.
I was gifted with the... I don't know if Michael Jackson had a part in my birth, but...
Oh yes.
Well, I was gifted with the moonwalk ability. I think I firmly believe in the 100 monkey effect. I don't know if you are familiar with this term.
Yes, I'm very familiar.
For
with
those
that.
of you who are not familiar with the 100th monkey effect, the 100th monkey effect is when they had, they were observing all these gorillas, and basically, the gorillas would have to, the mama gorilla would, in a tribe, would have to teach the little baby gorilla how to take a stick and stick it in the hole and pull it out and eat the ants, right?
Mm-hmm.
What they noticed is that after this tribe of gorillas had grown to like maybe 100 or so gorillas, the children that were birthed from this tribe immediately understood how to stick the stick in and eat the ants without the mom having to teach them. I believe the same thing happened with moonwalking.
So you're gonna have to elucidate on that.
Okay,
so
elucidate.
Who were your 100 tribesmen that allowed you to?
Well, it was Michael Jackson and his influence on popular culture, clearly. Clearly. Once Thriller came out, which I believe was in the 80s, I don't even know where he was moonwalking. Actually that was probably in the 90s, Thriller, right?
No, Thriller was the 80s.
Okay,
Yeah.
alright, so my facts are somewhat on point.
Yeah, that checks out.
Right, so anyways, it through popular media and the power of media in general.
So the zeitgeist, not
zeitgeist,
not
right.
really the genetics of Michael Jackson.
A little bit of
A
both.
little bit of both.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
They do say I have a little bit of Jackson in me.
Little.
You look me up, I'm 100% Greek and I'm 99.97% Greek, and then the other 0.03% is Michael Jackson. Don't know how that happened, don't ask me, but ask Ancestry.com.
I will.
Yeah. So yeah, I moonwalk to really demonstrate my rights as a citizen of the United States.
Right.
I moonwalk everywhere. Really it is. And people say, "Why do you moonwalk?" I say, "Doctor the feet." That's all I say. Police, I say, "Doctor the feet." If I was a politician, I was in a one-on-one conversation, they would be like, "What is your belief on abortion?" I would be like, "Doctor the feet."
Yes, and the feet would say.
They would just start moonwalking.
They would
And
just-
you would immediately understand.
Right,
See?
just like-
non-linear understanding. Yeah,
Exactly.
So that is why I moonwalk.
Beautiful.
So.
And
Yes. But I was moonwalking one day, fairly close to your house. I did notice that you were on the roof, and you were yelling obscenities, and they were divine in their sense, but they were obscenities nonetheless. I got quite amazed at the paradox, the contrast of you saying these words that most would cringe at, but I was finding a poetic, almost connection to Mother Mary. Could you elaborate on what you were doing and maybe why you were doing it?
Absolutely. So, I've had it with humans. Humans, this is so dramatic, and I've developed this very close connection to the local owls and squirrels. I found their company to be very delightful, and I found their dialect to be very insightful as well. They actually have a much clearer sound to object synthesis than humans do.
Sound to object synthesis.
Yes, exactly.
How does that even? I'm just wondering.
It's where the sound actually embodies the object, and it's not some abstract series of sounds or syllables.
Would you compare that to like an ice cream truck? You hear the ice cream truck, you know the ice cream truck.
That is actually a brilliant example of absolutely, because you can hear the word ice cream truck, and if you had no idea what English was, you'd be like, what on God's green earth is that? You know, it's
cool.
just the abstract syllables. But if you heard the creepy the sirens and you were foreign to this land, you'd be like, I know exactly what that is. Someone's about to get kidnapped. And that is actually a brilliant example, so thank you for bringing that up. But anyway, the squirrels and owls.
Right.
So actually, I have tea with the head squirrel, Cornelius.
Oh,
Cornelius, yes, exactly. And I have 3 owls bringing the tea of the day to go along with the acorns that Cornelius brings. So it's like this nutty tea that we all have. And, you know, I sometimes hide Cornelius's nuts, you know, just so like he'll, you know, because they pretend to lose him. Like, it's all in the act of, just, like, finding them.
Of course.
Anyway.
It's just like how the government pretends to lose the money.
Right, exactly.
Oh, we lost it, bye-bye!
Oh, yeah, now they get to argue forever. They love that.
I love it.
It's actually true. That's true.
It's very true.
If I was the government, I would do that. So that morning when you were moonwalking, and you were noticing these obscenities, it was actually, this is how I show a sign of affection towards Cornelius and these 3 owls that bring me tea.
Wow.
It's actually, you know, I have to say things very harshly in order to convey my love. Because, you know, if you're going to love something, you got to love it hard. You know, and in the animal kingdom, it's like, when you love hard, like, it's obscene.
Right.
So
Makes
my
sense.
love towards Cornelius and these 3 owls, Jezebel, Anna, and
Jezebel. Okay.
That's a name, right?
Oh, that's absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's a very, very clear Latin words.
and Monty.
Yeah.
That's you know, we just yell at each other in the most loving of ways, and that's actually our pre-tea ritual. Is we actually, the sonorous effect from our yelling at each other will infuse the tea with so much heat. And
Just not so much today.
and yeah, this happens every 6 a.m. On top of my roof.
Wow.
As I commune with the animals and forget about humanity and the awfulness that is humanity.
So my first question for you is you know, when you're having these you know, obscene, maybe from an outside perspective, the obscene moments with Jezebel and Cornelius.
Yes.
You know,
Anna and Monty.
Anna and Monty, of course. Have you had any, you know, 6 a.m., you know, some of your neighbors may be still asleep. Have you had any, you know, any feedback or any kickback from the community?
Constantly, absolutely.
Yes.
And actually, I've been slowly buying all the houses around me. Because, you know, I got that settlement money for when I tripped over the "Don't Walk Here" sign.
Right.
It was clearly defaced, and I couldn't see that you couldn't walk here.
Right. I mean, clearly, your primary language is Hebrew. We all know this.
Right. Exactly.
And and clearly.
Clearly, it said "walk here" in Hebrew.
Clearly. Right. They need to, you know, it should be English and Hebrew everywhere.
Everywhere.
I don't know why.
Only those two.
Yeah, right. The government
Because-
just isn't quite caught up to the times, and we all understand it. I mean, they don't even understand, like squirrels speak Hebrew, right?
Absolutely.
Right. That's
Yes.
their primary language.
That's their primary dialect.
Right.
Amongst the guttural yelling of love.
Oh,
the,
right,
the
right,
love
right.
language.
Well, that's more of like, I mean, we're kind of getting more into. I know it's like not mating, but it's like pseudo mating because you're expressing love.
Well,
But
everything
you're not actually.
everything is mating. Like everything that you do is an act of love.
So we're mating right now.
We are absolutely mating.
Wow.
That's why we enjoy this so much.
Yeah.
Yes, we are also mating with our lovely third. Did we decide it was the third wheel? The third part of the triangle?
I think they're they're part of the Tea Party.
They're part of the tea.
Another person here. It's very quiet and understanding.
Absolutely. I know. Never talks back.
Never at all. Zero talk back. I'm nice.
So, to continue the story,
Sure,
from my settlement,
Of course.
I've been buying all the neighboring houses. I've actually been, covertly sending my squirrel team to, rough people up a little bit so that they will move out.
Yeah.
And so now I have, close to 10 acres of houses that are just mine. And we're going to start... Squirrelification, exactly. Boom. I could hear the laughter, actually, from, the
squirrels?
The squirrels. Yes, so that's I'm just going to continue to expand.
Yeah.
And, you'll continue to moonwalk.
Yeah.
I love that we live in the same world.
It's really great,
Yeah.
and you're doing me a favor by taking over, the east side of Austin, moving, it's only a matter of time we're going to get to Congress Street.
Exactly.
And once we get to Congress,
It's ours.
it's ours, and I really look forward to being able to commune, if it is okay with the squirrels, to commune with all of y'all.
Absolutely.
I would love to learn the ways of the squirrel.
I've told them about you. They're actually very inspired by your moves.
Really?
Yes, and by your
Wow.
by your Greek heritage.
Oh wow. Okay. What about the Michael Jackson part?
Yeah, no, they're very curious about that as well. It's under investigation, actually, as we speak.
I seem open-minded.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, I mean, we'll have this city to ourselves.
Absolutely.
Soon.
Right. We'll kick out everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Complete domination.
Complete and utter dominion.
Right. Have to rename Austin.
Yes. Oh, because they tried that recently, right?
Did they?
Yeah, there was this ballot because Austin was named after this general that actually had slaves or something.
Of course, yeah.
And so they're like, we can't have Austin be a part of our name. And then they actually had there was very hilarious names that people came up with.
Oh, of course. That's always what happens when you try to outsource a name from
Right, exactly. Have you been outsourcing your name? Come to improv.
Right. Yeah. What do you remember the
I wish I did.
potentials?
I remember I was getting a shave. I get straight razor shaves. I felt the need to actually speak to you while describing my weekly shaves. But it was the barbers have it's amazing talk time. You learn so much at a barber shop.
Right.
What goes on
So
between
much.
barber and client or whatever.
Right.
And that's I remember that specific conversation of the names, and you kept spouting out all these names. I just kept giggling, but I don't remember any of them.
What if you spelled Austin backwards and said it? Could that be a potential name? Okay, I'm trying to
Nitrai.
some Russian sounding name.
Well, everything is Russian when you spell it backward. My my birth name Tristan.
Yeah.
Backwards is Natsert.
Whoa.
Commander Natsert. I used to call myself that.
So first of all, I didn't know your first name was Tristan
Yeah.
originally.
Yeah, that's my birth name.
And you decided to change it to Amar?
Mm-hmm. I'm Marta.
You're like, I'm Marta.
I'm Marta.
That's cool. And then Tristan backwards, or what is it?
Natsert.
What up, Nats?
Natsert. Exactly.
Nats? What up,
It's
Nats?
a very European name. Tristan Jensbach.
Can't say it. Okay.
I think the ability to change one's name is a very important process if it calls out to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just how a big part of my work with Improv PD is to help people let go of identities,
Yes.
let go of those stories that that really hold them into a particular box.
Right.
And oftentimes a name will be associated with that particular identity.
Right.
So if we're true to ourselves, if we're actually living in the eternal now, in the process, and not trying to uphold this image that we have of ourselves, it would make sense that we would have names that change kind of throughout our lives.
Right.
So I was inspired to do that during a meditation retreat. There's a group or an organization called Sambodha that has been very, very influential for me. It's actually where I've been learning the various mantras, meditations that I've been sharing with people. And yeah, it was there that Amar Dev was born.
Wow, that's so it just all came as one, Amar Dev.
Amar Dev, yeah.
That's amazing. So like you were just meditating, and it just came to you. Is that the way, or was
No. It was actually given.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So what was that process like?
I mean, I wish I knew.
Just like,
oh no! The lottery, fortune cookies. So, Amar Dev.
I love the name. Amar Dev is like one of the coolest names that has ever. When I first met you, I'm like, ooh, Amar Dev. What is this guy about?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, it's interesting. Like, in the community, like I'm named in full Amar Dev, but in Texas, people only like to do one or the other.
Yeah.
It seems like Amar or Dev,
Sure.
that. So I kind of go by two names here.
Yeah.
It's either the Amar or Dev.
Right. I can see that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and I like both actually. Like
Yeah.
they're both. Like Dev is like super gangster.
Yo, what up, Dev?
Yo, Dev.
What up, Dev? D-Rev? D-F? Dev ill?
Amar is more sonorous. It's like,
Amar.
Amar.
Oh, Amar.
Amar.
Please, Amar. Please come to my house. I give you a back massage, Amar. I feel that. It's like name. Okay, names have been probably. So I think a lot of my life has been about identity. That's kind of just like the theme of my life.
Oh, sure. Well,
it's like,
join the club.
join the club. Yeah, right. I think a lot of exactly. Like I think everyone is about identity, but I would say, I could say numerologically, I'm a one. Numerology one is primarily identity focused. So I think we all play different, experience different. Plethora of themes, but there's always like a theme that's kind of like more predominant.
Oh,
or at least
sure.
in different parts of our lives or whatever. You know?
Yeah.
And so like that predominant theme has been identity for me, and so like for me it's like I'm 30, but like I'm still in this process of like usually like when you hit, like they say like once you hit 30 like you have a really good idea of what you're all about kind of a thing, and that's one way to say it.
Yeah, totally. Sorry.
One way of saying it.
You saw my face scrunch.
Yeah.
You're like,
Right.
Finish your thought, and I won't.
Yeah, but I guess for me, I feel like I've just begun that process of like maybe even barely scratching the surface of what I am. And so, anyways, with that long rant, my name Peter William Flessis, which is my full name,
Right.
has been under scrutiny, and it's such a. It's like such a. It's like
Totally.
I've gone through all these different phases of like either like. It started with my middle name. When I was younger, I didn't like my middle name, but then as I got older, I really loved my middle name, and then I started not liking my first name.
Sure.
And then I've gone through the process of liking and not liking it, and then the last name liking and not liking it, like just all this emotional like baggage just with my name.
Absolutely.
And so I've kind of got to the point where I'm like, okay, Peter William, like, okay, that works, but I know it's just not it.
Right.
So I think I just need to go somewhere where someone can just tell me what I am.
Yeah,
It's like,
absolutely.
I can't figure it out, man. Give me a fucking name. I'm gonna be the Beanie Baby. Just put a tag under there. Give me a little theme. The one this it could be like the cuddly one that loves things.
The cuddly
I would take
one.
that one.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
Be like, hey, Squibbly. Squibs, what up?
I totally encourage you to find a name.
Well, Will.i.am took a cool, interjection
Sure.
of the names. I was
Right.
like, no, I can't be Will.i.am anymore. But maybe I could be like, Willie.am.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah. We're working on it. It's in process.
Yeah, totally. Is there like a particular? Are you Greek?
I am.
You seem very Greek.
Are you good?
So I mean, does like the I mean I know like what do like Greek names resonate with you or
Yeah, actually they do. Definitely.
like Nikos, you know, like
Yeah, I love like Nikolai and like those are like
Yeah,
super
totally.
cool names. Actually, my like pen name, my online name is Oxios, which it means worthy. in Greek.
Oxios.
Yeah.
Now that
You feeling that?
I heard that and I was like, ooh, Oxios. Like I mean that O's are great.
Yeah.
Like you know, what was it? Orpheum or
Morphine?
No, Orpheus.
Orpheus. What is that?
It's like it's one of the key musical gods in the pantheon of gods.
Okay.
Yes, Orpheus. He's amazing.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
very kind of Pythagorean.
He's very O-oriented.
Yes. It just sounds like that O is just great. Say that name again.
Oxios.
Oh my god.
It's got the ox and the os
Os.
and the right.
That's
No,
beautiful.
It's actually the one name that's really, really resonated with me.
Oh shit.
But I think I haven't really gotten to the point where I'm just like I'm ready to like be like okay, everyone call me Oxios now. 'Cause
I
it's so
mean-
different, you know.
I kind of just want to name you. I think
You can call that.
right now.
Yeah.
From henceforth, you are
You are down.
Oxios.
I feel like we need to do some sort of like ceremony where you baptize in
Oh yeah, absolutely.
tea.
In tea, right? Exactly.
Scalding hot.
Scalding hot tea. Sit still.
Pronounced Oxios. Just like throw tea on the face. It hurts, but it feels so good.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, names
Names.
are a thing.
Names are important.
Yeah, name.
Yeah.
I might be named something different later on. Who knows?
Oh shit! Who knows what those squirrels will tell you to do?
I know. They tell me things all the time. Squirrels, like, for one thing, my younger brother, I feel like is part squirrel.
You think so?
He's like yeah. I remember this one moment of. Actually, no, a couple of moments of just like squirrels just starting like yelling at him like out of nowhere.
Wow.
In like, you know, what I would perceive as this like, you know, love language, you know, in
Yeah.
some way. It's very strong, but
Right.
it's animalistic. It's great.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, squirrels. I don't know. I mean, they're everywhere,
They are.
but I feel like I don't know. There's some connection I have with them.
I appreciate squirrels because they're like so small, yet they will intimidate me while they're in their main season. You know, when they're walking under a tree, and those squirrels are all like staring at you and like giving you that like. I don't know. You're just like, is it gonna jump on my head? Like, I don't know. Like, if it does, what does it do? It gives me rabies and then I die? Like, within a week? I don't know.
That's
These are
what
things.
happens. These
Yeah,
are
so
things
it's
that
just
go in our head.
Yeah, so respect
Respect.
to plan those stories, squirrels.
Absolutely.
Damn. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it is. Yeah.
Hey, you know, I was about to ask, you know, going back to our stories,
Yeah.
because it's important to me that when we tell a story, like, is there any, as we said earlier
Yeah.
in this live feed, like, are there kernels of relevance?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because, you know, we said something that was unfiltered.
Right.
And so I think for me, like, as we were talking about squirrels, and
Yeah.
squirrels was a huge part of my story,
Yeah.
like, maybe that was my connection of connecting with my brother a little bit.
Yeah.
Of having this, because we're very close.
Yeah.
And actually, I really wish he had been here during this prog rock concert that I
Yeah.
went to this last week. So it's possible that there was some symbolism there
Right.
of connecting with my brother in that story.
Yeah.
I think owls I also really love.
That's so
You know, just very like the wisdom that's symbolized within owls.
Right.
I very much identify with. And yeah.
That's amazing.
So that was something. Yeah, and actually, you know, gentrification, like, or squirrelification. You know, like I just bought like this house, or my family just bought this house.
Right.
And so it's like we're slowly taking over this neighborhood.
Yeah. Right.
And you know there are feelings that come with that.
Yeah.
Like I am a part of this situation that's happening in Austin that's not always authentic.
Yeah. Right.
You know, like I consider myself a good person, and I love that this healing space is here, and I think this is good for the community.
Right.
But I also probably ousted someone else.
Yeah.
And so in that story, there could have been that aspect of grappling with that idea of gentrification.
And you'll forever have to live with that in your dreams.
Exactly. Exactly. Totally. So those are the things that came up in my story that could have pertained to my real life. Are there anything that comes in your moonwalking?
Let's see here. So basically, it was like this theme of like being a loner and having a very specific like political perspective that maybe isn't accepted by a big larger group, which has definitely been my kind of experience over the last couple months for sure. And I've actually I've experienced a lot of growth in like committing to a viewpoint that is not at all the popular view, especially in Austin.
Sure.
And being able to kind of be being in conversation with someone where they have a very clear point of perspective and also maybe an expectation that I do too, and then disappointing them straight up, and just being like level-headed and present and just like taking in that feeling or the feeling of or the emotion of like an expectation not being met, or like I'm kind of like the reality and they have an expectation and I'm the reality of that expectation and they're just not met, and so there's like this process of like almost like this feeling of like this balancing process that kind of plays out in this moment of time, and it's and you could like react to it and like get scared about it and try to say this is why I believe blah blah blah, or you could just like feel it in and be like and just like no, this is just who I am, and then just stare at them.
And you can moonwalk your expressions.
Yeah, it's like a flow. Yeah, it's like a flowing movement.
Because I think that was in both of our stories, like this like idea of like perhaps caring too much about what the other person thinks of our expressions, so us, and also just like the limitations of language in general, and so why not express ourselves authentically with our bodies, like moonwalks, or with shouting carnivorously at animals. So yeah, I think that was a big thing for both of us, like finding other ways to express ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one other thing that stood out to me was that when I shared the story of the squirrels being intimidated by the squirrels, it just kind of made me connected to that there's sometimes where something I'm working on is to be more present with when I'm in experiences with other people who maybe are more authoritative and like have an authoritative stance or authoritative kind of like yes, I guess I would say stance, who may use specific words or sounds to maybe maybe not intentionally, but in or sounds and words that put me off keel or off kilter,
like power sounds.
Yeah, power sounds.
Moves.
Right, power moves, power sounds, power looks.
Power looks. Yes.
Yeah. So that's something I've been working on too. That's something I experienced this weekend, and I realized I'm like, oh, you know what? This is like this feels bad because it kind of triggers this like hypnotic response in me.
Totally.
And then I suddenly become kind of like I give away my power, and I'm at the whim of them.
Yeah.
And then I'm maybe I'm trying to impress them, or maybe I'm trying to like I don't know, do something that, or I'm focusing my energy outside of myself, and I'm not.
You're
it's like all here. Yeah, I'm outsourcing. Yes. Exactly. Thank you. Yes. But when you bring it back, you breathe. You realize that this person is not you, and they're not doing anything to you. They couldn't do it. They can't do anything to you. They can't make you feel any particular way. You are the feeler. You are the doer. And
that person is you.
Person is you. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Like, right. That's why they can't do anything to you because they are you.
Yeah, they are you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a great perspective.
That's great. So yeah, I feel like we were exploring very similar topics.
Yes.
That were very relevant for our lives in the last week.
Yes.
Expression is, and I was such a timid child, and it was one of it's an ongoing process of like getting out of that timidity. Improv, meditation, wonderful tools for me to break away those self-imposed chains and whatnot. But it's
your dominance of the world.
right, exactly. It's like one day they will all listen to me. But it comes. It's a constant theme for me.
Yeah,
Like,
of course.
and
It's a huge part of identity.
yeah, totally. So, I just want to I want to bring awareness to the last 5-10 minutes that Peter and I have been sharing. That is the epitome of what I bring to the table with clients, or even just in everyday interactions with friends or whatnot.
Right.
To have these creative, co-creative stories occur, where we then we not only laugh, but then we can investigate on what those stories were actually about.
Right.
Without going too hard into the analysis,
Right,
because we're
right,
still
right.
flowing.
Right.
With what something could mean
Right.
at any given moment.
Right. And in the end, it's just like we're just kind of suggesting meaning and be like, how could that be useful to like, how could this be useful?
Yeah.
And kind of like going back to the original theme that we were talking about, like not like picking out the flower, seeing this beautiful flower and just picking out and holding on to it,
Totally.
but more of just like observing it and being like, wow, that's a beautiful like meaning that could be useful for me in my life, and I wonder how that could be. I could take use that and go on my way, rather than making it this like belief or this like very like
I am so important.
This is-
You are important.
Yeah.
I will worship you.
you are the dogma that will forever guide my will.
But the thing is also is that it's effortless.
Yeah.
It's when we get to this place, whether it's meditation or improv or whatever.
Yeah.
When we get into this flow, this fluid state of effortlessness, life is just so much easier.
Yes.
I mean, I think you and I, came across really important reminders of things that we're working on through the effortless storytelling that we did.
Yeah.
And it required, like, what did we have to do for that to happen?
We just had to laugh.
We just
really
laughed
around.
Exactly. We
Yeah.
were just, and I really do think this is the future of counseling.
Yeah.
Like I
agree.
honestly believe that.
I think that some of the greatest discoveries were stumbled upon.
Right. Totally.
And-
Newton's apple. Right.
Yeah,
Or,
it was popped around the head, but he was reading a book, whatever. It was who's the guy that accidentally or discovered LSD by
I'm unfamiliar with that story.
I'm
yes.
just making up shit at this point.
Yeah, totally.
That's part of it. So, but the beauty is that by going far into this abstract world that is totally not real at all, or like total fake. You're just bullshitting. You can bullshit your way to the truth, and that's the beauty. That's the beauty. It's such a great paradox, but it is like when your intention is maybe the truth, or maybe it is self-discovery, which is what it sounds like you're bringing to the table when you're with your clients or just people in general.
Totally.
That does come up.
And also what we talked about earlier in regards to the philosophy of perception and frequency bandwidth.
Yeah.
Like, what is real when what we're only perceiving is this very narrow range of frequencies.
Yeah, right.
And actually, for me, like, I believe that because there's the unconscious it's constantly communicating with us.
Yeah.
It's this
Right.
endless, limitless reservoir of ideas, of whatnot. Some of it's crazy, some of it's useful. But when you allow yourself to tap into that, then that frequency range can expand.
Right.
And so, what is bullshit? What is reality?
Right.
In that context.
Reality is bullshit. It's probably more bullshit than actual reality.
Well, our stories often are bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like
That's
our
it,
interpretation
yes.
of reality
Right.
is so far away from the truth.
And even like when we're looking at more concrete things like science, you know, the book of science changes completely 100% every 100 years. Like,
Right.
it's a whole new book.
Yeah.
So it's just like a whole new bullshit comes to the table.
The book of science.
The book of science that we build our biggest, most, concrete societal structures from. So I mean, even the book of science, is subject to change.
Exactly.
So-
And the Book of Faces.
Book of Faces, exactly.
You know what? Now, I believe, we had this, for those of you that were at the beginning of this live session, we had this humorous anecdotal thing about Facebook being like a book of faces that we assassinate. This we're a part of this Assassin's Guild.
This ancient. It's like an ancient concept,
Right.
that existed in the early 1800s.
Exactly, early 1800s,
Yeah.
started in the Greek Isles.
Yes, of course.
But, the more I think about it, the more it makes sense symbolically if, we're assassinating the faces, the masks that we all hold, the identities. And so,
Yeah, I like that.
even though
That's
that
good,
was, that was this first thing that popped up between us,
Right.
that seemed very goofy and maybe not even appropriate to say or whatnot.
Right.
But now, as time has passed, we're like, okay, we started talking about all these various subject matters,
Right.
and now it totally makes sense to me
Yeah.
why we actually came up with it.
Yeah,
Why that was
absolutely.
the first thing that we came up with.
Together, yeah.
Because it makes sense. Like, we are here to assassinate our identities.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
in the most loving of ways.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah, exactly. Like that slow letting go process.
Yes.
Just letting
Graceful.
it. Yeah, that graceful swan.
Easy swan. Yes.
Easy swan.
Yes. Well, thank y'all so much for stopping by and checking us out.
Absolutely.
If you live in Austin, you should check out good old Amar Dev with, how can they find you, Amar?
ImprovBD.com. You can check out the website. I also have a Facebook page. There's numerous reviews if you're curious about everything that I do, because there's a lot. And actually, Peter has been helping me create videos to explain in more detail of the
Yes.
things that I do. So just to reiterate here, in this space right here, this is my personal healing space where I meet people one-on-one. We have tea ceremony with improv exercises. We do acupuncture with tuning forks instead of needles, and then we meditate together. And that is a personal development session.
And it is, I've had the honor to do this probably at least probably 5 or 6
Yeah.
times now, at least, you
Yeah.
know, and it's just such a blast. It's like, it's this beautiful harmony of I mean, the tea's delicious, one. The conversation is also delicious, but you laugh. I mean, it's just it's like endless giggles, endless laughter, and then you kind of go into the complete opposite spectrum where you're like, now you're laying on a table and receiving these healing vibes, and it's very, very relaxed, and you go into a meditation, and then you go even deeper into that essence. So it's like this very cool movement or story that you go through, this process that you go through that is very very unique, and if you haven't experienced it, you definitely should. So that's just my personal words, straight from the heart, straight from the place itself.
The place itself.
Yes.
Well, Peter is one of my favorite humans.
We
So
humans.
this one's for you, Peter.
Oh. All right, y'all. Well, thanks for tuning in. We're peacing out. We'll see you guys next week.
Next week?
Yeah.
Yes.
Same time, same place. See you then.